Welcome back to another edition of College Football Unscripted Real Talk. Episode 2. I'm your host, Tyler, and I'm here with my co-host, Anthony. Say what's up, Anthony.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? Thank you, Tyler, for having me on again. I appreciate it, man. It's always a pleasure to talk with you.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's also a really good pleasure watching a lot of these games from this past week. Week 11 of the NCAA season. Oh, there's some good ones, some not so good ones, and some barn burners, right? And speaking of barn burners, my condolences to you and your Liberty loss. That ending of that game was a thriller, just like the Michael Jackson song.
Man, hats off to the other boys there. Liberty tears my heart out again, just one after another this season. But hey, that's football for you. Love and heartbreak all in one. Good old USA football, baby. Shout out to my American brothers and sisters.
It's really sports sushi if you think of it that way, all rolled up into one. And speaking of last week, we had Ohio State, and we were talking about their odds against Purdue. Well, they certainly earned them this week, right? They won 34-10 against Purdue. Maybe we should just keep guessing.
Yeah, man. Ohio State they're dogs. I think we predicted this one last week, if I'm not mistaken.
We did.
So, right? Not much to talk about here besides we told you so. So,
Pretty much. One thing that neither of us saw coming, though, was our first game of the week that we looked at, Texas Tech versus BYU. Texas Tech absolutely stomping BYU 29-7. And Anthony, you know what they say? Mormons always wait till marriage. Well, BYU certainly didn't save themselves from marriage this time because they got fucked all over that football field. They just couldn't get a lot going on.
Tyler, dude, you always kill me, man. And Texas Tech was just all over them, killed them in every aspect of the football field. I'm pretty sure. 219 yards, 17 for 32. Texas Tech quarterback Morton, shout out. Running back Dickey, my notes here, 23 rushes for 121 yards. That was a good day. And yeah, not to mention that defense, man. Golly.
Yeah, particularly that defensive line. Oh my goodness. Jacob Rodriguez, he got that one forced fumble and an interception. You don't see a lot of big men do that a whole lot. Their defense definitely carried the day. They were the highlight of the game for me. Although I will say, offensively, Texas Tech, just like their gun ownership in that state, they got the serious firepower there between their rushing and their passing, and as you said, their quarterback. There's nothing to scoff at.
No, absolutely, Tyler. You're 100% spot on with that. Yeah, their defense is NFL caliber defense. I'm telling you, the Jets are going to be looking there in the draft this draft, boy. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, Texas Tech, they're just dogs. And on the other side, they're
And
BYU. Tyler, BYU is just, I don't even know what to say. I have no idea what to say.
it was another off game for them, really. Just another off game. They had almost close to 400 yards against. They were 3 for 14 on their third down efficiency. Like, that's not going to win a game on either side of the ball, right?
No, that's not BYU football. What we saw Saturday was not BYU football. It shocked me a little bit because I was ready to watch a game. I was ready to got down. I got my popcorn ready and I saw that. And I was a bit upset with BYU.
Especially BYU coming in as the seventh ranked Texas Tech, coming in as the eighth nationally ranked team. You would have expected a
Mhm.
little bit closer game, right? But for the most part, it was all Texas Tech for a large portion of the game, right? BYU fumbles
Absolutely.
it twice. They get Texas Tech destroys them in rushing yards, 149-67. Texas Tech gets 17 first downs compared to BYU's 14. Like there just wasn't as much of a compete level there, I guess, this game.
To me, I think like you mentioned, that run game there for BYU just non-existent. I think their run game is an important piece to their offense. I mean, pretty easy to say, but I mean, I think it's a very important piece. They don't get that run game going, they become one dimensional, and when you become one dimensional,
You're not going to win a whole lot of
you lose
football
by
games.
28. Exactly.
Yeah, 21, 22. But yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
And even
22.
on the
Sorry.
Texas Tech,
Yeah.
it's all good. Even on the Texas Tech side, one thing I noticed about them this game, they just had a lot of diversity and they had a multitude of weapons. They could throw anyone out there, and it worked for them, right?
Mhm. Absolutely, 100%. When you got weapons in a case back there like that, make a name for yourself pretty fast.
Absolutely. And speaking of making a name for yourself, one of the guys that made a name for himself at Texas Tech, Patrick Mahomes. He was there at the game. It was heavily publicized. It was all over. You always love to see alumni come back and support the programs that they're a part of. And obviously, for future recruits, who better to look up to by being either the next Patrick Mahomes or whoever it is? Always good to see those superstar quarterbacks and superstar NFL players come back to their football programs.
Yeah, it's nice to see them go back and really appreciate the program that helped them be the quarterback who they are today. Texas Tech was a big reason of why Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback he is today. But without Texas Tech, if he went to a different school, who knows if it would be a Patrick Mahomes? You know what I mean? If he never went
Yeah.
to Texas Tech, is what I meant to say, right? Yeah, it's nice to see.
Speaking of Texas Tech, they're really building a powerhouse out there outside of this BYU game. Like coming into this whole NCAA season, they had spent a total of $25 million on their roster. That's a lot of money, and they have the boosters to do that, right? Like they have the people that are donating this money that are willing to do that. A guy like Cody Campbell, who's a former Texas Tech football player himself, essentially gave the program a blank check, and they brought in 21 transfers to the tune of $12 million alone, right? So I think
Jeez.
if you're going to have a year, this is going to be Texas Tech's year to win it before any of those rules or before the Wild West of the NCAA calms down, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of schools in the same boat as Texas Tech, but Texas Tech is doing it fast and they're doing it well. I think something needs to happen. Like it will happen next year where this type of thing can't happen as much or whatever they do with it. But
Yeah.
yeah, Texas Tech is writing a book on how to spend money or how to get money, I guess, or vice whatever.
And here's hoping that it leads them to that championship that their fans, their boosters, everyone wants, right? But I think
Yeah.
Texas Tech in general, they've kind of written the book, at least recently, on how to build how to build a program, right? They got that, as we mentioned, that alumni engagement with Patrick Mahomes. They got the boosters cutting all their checks. They have insane fan support. It's sold out pretty much every game, and
Oh,
they're not
yeah.
scared to get the NIL money, right?
No, yeah, and you know what? Something I just thought of, Tyler, right now, with
Yeah,
them
what's up?
having access to Patrick Mahomes, gives them access to Travis Kelsey, which gives them access to future Miss Travis Kelsey Taylor Swift. So who knows? You know what I mean? They might not even need that donation money if they got Miss Taylor Swift or Miss Taylor Kelsey, whatever her name's gonna be, in the bank.
Well, as we're taught to either get a job in or outside of sports, networking is everything, right? And with their alumni boosters, everything, Texas Tech knows what they're doing. Speaking of other things that know what they're doing, our second game of the week, Texas A&M versus Missouri. Oh, that was another kind of hard to watch one, but very low scoring first half, and then boom, Texas A&M just brings it on, and they end up winning 38-17. What do you think of that game?
Yeah, Texas A&M. They played a little bit better than I thought they would going into this one. Their quarterback Reed, 20 for 29, 221 yards, 2 TDs. Running back Owens, 13 rushes, 2 yards, 2 TDs. Defense had 2 forced fumbles, I believe. So it's a big one for Texas A&M. Good for them. Good win for the program. Well-deserved win overall.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, Owens with Texas A&M there, he had 102 yards rushing alone, right? Texas A&M's QB Reed, 20 for 29,
Absolutely. That's
155.1 rating, 221 yards overall.
yeah. That's a wonderful day for a quarterback.
Like, we're talking about how Texas A&M had such a good day. Missouri certainly didn't, right? Zollers looked overwhelmed out there. Just a
Yeah.
soft team defense. There was 3 fumbles. Zollers, speaking of a percentage, Zollers went 7 for 22 on passing, right? 71 yards for the entire game.
It's an awful day for the quarterback there.
Just comparing it, Texas A&M 221 yards versus 71. Obviously, you know there's going to be generating more offense there, right? Texas A&M was also a lot better on their third down efficiency, 7 for 14. That means you're going to have a little bit more clutch. You're going to be able to finish a lot more drives. Yeah, it just wasn't a pretty night for Missouri.
No, when you're like when you're completing 7 passes, that's awful. And then you talk about the running back, 17 rushes for 110 yards. It's good yardage wise, but you're still rushing the ball 17 times. When you equal 17 times and you get 110 rushing yards, it's not really looking that good. So there's got to be more out of Missouri going forward, because if they put this out there every week, stats speak for themselves, right?
You're coming in as a 22nd ranked team in the nation, right? Any other unranked teams are all hoping to be 22, just like the Taylor Swift song. Throwback to our previous joke. And
throwback.
And it's one of those things where, yeah, you seem to go out there and you perform a little bit better. Having 3 fumbles, getting your quarterback sacked twice, not really looking too good on 3rd or 4th downs. It's not going to produce a lot of wins.
No, and I'm not going to lie to you. Like Missouri, maybe 22, or it might not be now, but they're not an exciting football program to watch. I don't know about you, but I thought their offense is a bit boring. I mean, maybe because you only complete 7 passes.
You know what's not boring though? With this win, Texas A&M is essentially secured a playoff spot for the college football playoffs.
Yeah.
If I'm an Aggie fan, I gotta be excited about that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Texas A&M, because they got a great program too. Another Texas team that has a good program there. It's something to watch.
We're really looking like the pro Texas people here, between all of our Texas Longhorn talk last week and then now this. Speaking of that, speaking of Texas talk though, the Aggies were doing some trash talking after the game too against Mizzou, right? They posted online a status of them essentially destroying the arena, saying, "Caution, Aggies at work." Talk about Aggies, they're egging on the opponent's fan bases quite a bit, but now they're saying 9-0. They just got to keep racking up those wins and keep proving all these opposing fan bases are wrong.
Absolutely. Well, wait. When you put up 38 points and you go play a game like you did, talk your talk, man, because you're walking your walk. So now you got to do it. Talk the talk is now.
Absolutely. Speaking of 38 points, Texas A&M scored 38 points and won. Our next game, Auburn scored 38 points and lost. They played Vanderbilt. Vandy won 45-38. Talk about a good redemption game, especially compared to their performance last week, right?
Auburn. Oh, that's all I gotta say is Auburn.
I gotta say, they just continue that downward slide, right? You can't really be in hot water anymore if you're already boiled, right? And that's where Auburn is. They fire their coach. I mean, the offense went out and performed, but they couldn't stop anything. So not the best showing for their defense or for their head coach in that sense. Both teams' offenses played very well, right? Vanderbilt got 377 yards with Pavia there, and 25 for 33 and 3 touchdowns alone. Can't ask for much more out of that, right? Auburn, Daniels went 31 for 44. 353 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's a good game for both quarterbacks.
No, yeah, it is, and we were ragging on Auburn a little bit, but they could have won that game just as easily as they lost it. I'm always cautious on picking the team that fires their coach to lose the next week because, I mean, stats show what stats show, right? But Auburn defensively, they couldn't stop much when you get 45 points against you. It's hard to win. Your locker room is disorganized because you lost your leader, and the leader that's coming in, nobody really believes in that guy anyway right now until the true one comes in. So it's just, I don't know. I don't know. And as for Vanderbilt, they rocked the boat, man. They did what they had to do to win. Like you said,
Yeah,
the quarterback was wonderful. They were on to something in that game, and it showed.
absolutely. And like even last week we talked about Vanderbilt too, right? And one of the guys that you mentioned last week was Eli Stowers. When I was watching the game this week, oh my god, he's definitely got that dog in him. He's definitely that hidden gem. He was a workhorse. He got 12 receptions, 122 yards. I can definitely see what you were pointing at last week. But he wasn't the only receiver that played well, right?
No, yeah, they had Richardson as well. Three receptions for 124 yards and a tutty. That's wild.
Yeah.
But back to Stowers there. He's that dog. He's that reliable person. Clearly, 12
Yeah.
receptions. 12 receptions, 122 yards is is the type of guy he is. That's the wide receiver he is and will be. He's the guy that can get you out of trouble, the guy that you check down to, or if you need, heck, even throw it over the top. I mean, you'll get it over the top as well. So yeah, shout out to Stowers, man. Shout out to Stowers.
Yeah, and once again, Stowers, he's got that dog in him. I think as well, Richardson may not got that dog in him, but he got that racehorse in him. Like he had two really, really nice plays that I saw. In the second quarter, he had a 43-yard catch, and then in the third quarter, he had a 57-yard touchdown. Right, on only three receptions. That's not too bad.
Three. Yeah, I mean, 3 receptions. You'd like to get more receptions than that as a receiver, but I mean, 3 receptions for 124 yards and a TD. That's a wonderful day. That's a
Yeah,
great day. So, yeah, woof woof to the wide receivers out in Vanderbilt because they got them dogs in them.
absolutely. And you know what dogs are all the time? They're very, very happy. And you know who else is very, very happy on that Vander team? Their head coach, Clark Leah. He leads Vandy to their first 8-win season since 2013 with that win against Auburn yesterday.
Yeah, it's I mean 2013. I was still in high school in 2013. But yeah, man, good for them. Like it took them an extra little bit to do it, but they got it done, and a win's a win. And I always like those dirty wins because that's how the team shows they're the best. In those hard-nosed football games, and Vanderbilt deserved to win. Hats off to Vanderbilt. And Auburn just got to get better. Plain and simple.
So it's one of those things where it could have went either way. Be able to finish against a team like that and pull out the clutch win proves why they're where they're at, right? They're a solid
Hmm.
football program that's on the rise. Speaking of on the rise, one thing that was also on the rise was the score of our next game. Notre Dame versus Navy. Notre Dame collecting the 49-10 win. Anthony, look, I know the U.S. Navy are the ones with the big ships and the big guns, but Notre Dame, they definitely proved to be the ones with the weapons on the football field yesterday.
Listen. Before we talk about football, hats off. It's Remembrance Day soon. To those
Yeah,
the ones that
Veterans
served
Day.
in the United States, in the United States and in Canada. Thank you very
Yeah,
much for all you've done for us. We appreciate it.
yeah.
Now time for ball. Yeah, Notre Dame just steamrolled them. I mean, golly. No defense on the Navy. Nothing going on. So yeah, just
one of it's one of those games that can you really use a team like Navy as like a measuring stick as to like where you are as an organization, right? Like, granted, Navy's still a solid football team, but can they be used as that measuring stick, as that test? And I'm just not sure about that. But overall, because yeah, like they just couldn't get a lot going on. But overall, yeah, Notre Dame went out there. They had themselves a game, and it got so bad that they even threw in their backup quarterback, right?
Yeah, now listen, if you're a team like Notre Dame in a big school and you're playing a team like Navy, they're not a team that you circle on your calendar and say, "Ooh, that's the big one. That's the one
Yeah.
there," right? Um, clearly as the score says. But, you know, yeah, shout out to Notre Dame fighting Irish because I mean, Navy didn't put up much of a fight. The quarterback for Carr there, I like him, 13 for 16, 218 yards, 3 TDs. Wow. Wow. Running back, love. I love him. He's great. I love to see him with, you know who, 13 rushes, 94 yards. I mean, man, oh man.
Well, and just even even looking at their passing yards, right? Like Notre Dame had 253 compared to Navy's 22. One thing I noticed is it was kind of one of those games where everyone contributes, right? So Jeremiah Love, Melanchi Fields, Mishni, right? Like everyone contributed. It was a team win, and it's one of those wins that's going to bring a little bit more camaraderie to that locker room and a little bit more trust in everyone around you, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. A win, listen, a win is a win, no matter what. Uh, I don't want to sit here and shit on Navy because they're a good program. Like, you know, their quarterback Woodson 3 for 8. You're only throwing the ball 8 times. I mean, I don't know what you want. He had 23 rushes, 101 yards. That's a quarterback. Like that's crazy. That I mean, uh, I don't know what the head coach is doing over there in Navy, but it's definitely not the Navy we know.
Well, and let me just say, if your quarterback's rushing 23 times, I really hope that your athletic trainers treated them very nicely after that game.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's gotta be getting him something good, you know, something from his cantina.
One other thing that's been kind of mentioned all season long is Notre Dame's kicking problems, right? They were 7 for 7 on extra points that game. It looked fairly okay, and their defense looked solid. It's now they just move on to the next week, right?
Yeah, you know, I got a lot of experience with kickers because you know I'm a Niners fan, right? As you can see. Shout out Jake Moody, Jake Money Moody, now Chicago Bears. But you know, so these kickers, they're up and they're down. You know, when they're up, they're up, but when they're down, it's like, oh man, they're missing everything. I just want to say, like, why don't these teams look at people who play soccer? Look at the guys who kick the ball all day. That's all they do is kick the ball. Pay them a couple 100,000 to kick a ball once every little while, and I'm sure they'll get it in at least 50 yards.
Well, exactly. And once again, second week in a row, shout out Pat McAfee. A lot of the guys that he gets to kick are always soccer players, right? And most of the time, they make it for all the money and the charity money and all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Yeah,
you
no,
never
you're
know,
right.
right?
Absolutely.
And
You never know. You never know.
one last thing I want to talk about, not so much about Navy, but about Notre Dame is their quarterback Minchin. He's a sophomore. He obviously lost a very highly publicized positional battle to Carr, who shout out
Hmm.
dog of the day, Carr, a Buffalo.
It's shout out dog
But
of the day.
yes, but does Michigan transfer after the season? Right? Are you going to be playing second fiddle to a freshman now turning sophomore for another year, right? Or are you going to try and find another program where you can slot in as a starter right away, right? Quarterbacks aren't known for being the guys that wait around for opportunities. They have to create it themselves, right? So, what do you think the likelihood of him transferring after this year is?
I think it's very high. Like you said, quarterbacks don't have very much patience nowadays. And in this case, I'm not gonna sit here and knock him for it because, like you said, he's a freshman, gonna be sophomore. So This kid is showing that he can ball out. He can ball and play. It's wasted talent if he's sitting there and he's doing nothing. I would like to see him go somewhere else, and I'd like to see him go to Auburn. If that's gonna be something, because I think, like I said last week, college football is a better sport when Auburn is good, and if they get a good quarterback, because I don't like the guy they got now, but if they get a good quarterback over there, like the one from Notre Dame, um. That's a good start because he's good. I like him a lot.
Um, absolutely. You know what else a lot of people like too, though? They like an Alabama win, just like in our fifth game against LSU. Let me just say, with the current state of LSU at 5-4, is there much of an LSU Alabama rivalry anymore? Because much like my ex, it seems like it's a thing of the past.
Yes, and shout out Tyler's ex. Let me know what's up. but uh, but listen, a rivalry is a rivalry no matter what the record is. When you're playing a team or colors or whatever you got in front of you that you hate, the other team can have 0 wins and you can have 80, and it's still a fight. It's still a fight. My Niners are getting smoked right now versus the Rams, and we beat them last time and they're kicking our ass now, and it sucks. So, losing the way LSU did sucks to a team that you hate. And so yeah, there's a rivalry always. There'll always be a rivalry, I think.
But overall, what were your main takeaways from that game?
I liked Alabama's quarterback Simpson. I think he was wonderful. I also liked LSU's quarterback, 18 for 21, 121 yards. He played wonderful. Yeah, it was good statistically, but score wise, something else.
Yeah. And one thing that I noticed, especially with Alabama, is this isn't me knocking them at all. They played a very good game. I think Simpson could have just had a little bit more clutch factor. I think there's a couple of instances where if he would have been able to execute, it would have been a runaway game, right? It would have been a Navy versus Notre Dame game. That's not saying he's playing bad. I'm saying he could
No,
like
yeah,
the runway with this kid is a little bit longer than I think we're giving credit for. So I think if he can
yeah.
develop that level of his game and that decision making in that clutch, it could be even better, right?
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. There was some throws where I was watching, I'm like, oh, if it was a little lower, or it was a little higher, or it was, you know, not so far behind. But not knocking them because I'm a big Alabama. I like Alabama. I'm a big fan of
Yeah,
them. I got a buddy who likes Alabama too, so um, you know,
but yeah, like he was 29 for 35. Like there can be a little bit more room for improvement, right? But one other thing I also noticed is it was a very pass heavy game, right? 288 yards for Alabama compared to LSU's 173. And then
yeah.
both teams only had, I want to say, 50 something rushing yards each. So it's that QB showdown, whatever you want to call it. It was electric. People loved it. Yeah, it was very much another one of those everyone contributes types game.
First of all, I don't know how to say the LSU quarterback's name. Do you know how to say his name? No Seamer?
No
No
Smire.
Smear? No Smire. Okay,
Yeah,
that's it. Sure. 18 for 21. Not like I know. Okay, listen. I know they only put up 9 points, LSU, but like the stats are there. For him, I don't know. Again, when you become it's a one-dimensional game. Like when you become one-dimensional, this is
yeah,
this is what happens, right? Like you get these things. Like Alabama, what do they have here? 7 rushes. I think it was 21
yeah.
yards or something like that, or something ridiculously low. But when you become one dimensional, these are the types of things this is what you get, right? I mean, it just keeps proving me right, these things, right? So
Even speaking of one dimensional, right? Kind of going back to how they could have just had that more clutch factor. Like Alabama was 13 on their third down efficiency, right? Like maybe if you rush the ball there once or twice, maybe you do get those extra couple yards. As you said earlier in this podcast, That's football for you, baby, right? Like you're gonna have wins, you're gonna have losses, you're gonna have first downs, you're gonna have punts, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I, overall, I think it was still an entertaining game. Shout out to Ramos, the LSU kicker. He went 3 for 3 on field goals. Their only points from that game. Speaking of kickers, I was impressed by that. I think one was like a 37, one was a 40, and then the third one was like a 30 something. That's consistency, baby. Get those soccer players on
Hey,
that consistency too.
hey, who says kickers aren't an important position in this game anymore? Right? They put up the only points they got. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
kickers got a place in my heart always. To all you kickers out there, keep balling and doing you, because me and Tyler here on CFB Unscripted, we love you. We care for you.
We hope you're doing well. Speaking of doing well, Nebraska gets a rebound win this week in our last game of the week. Nebraska versus UCLA. Nebraska gets that 28-21 victory. I didn't really catch this game, as I don't catch most Nebraska games. But tell me, Anthony, what do you think about it?
I think it was entertaining. It was a good game. But Nebraska came out with the deserved win. They went Latif there went 13 for 15, 205 yards, 3 TDs. Their running back, 28 rushes for 129 yards. 28 rushes. That's a lot for a running back in one game, man. Like his knees, his lower body must be just in an ice bath for hours. Um, but yeah, their DB Singleton got 8 tackles though that game for Nebraska. So that shout out to Singleton, the DB there in Nebraska. He's got that dog in him. Not the dog of the day though, but UCLA. They're a school that kind of fell off the map a little bit in terms of popularity, right? You had, was it
Yeah,
Josh Rosen that was the first overall pick, I think, for the Dolphins back in the day, went there. But they played all right. 21 points. Flores, the receiver, 6 receptions, 52 yards. Not the greatest, but not bad. Their quarterback there, 17 for 25, 191 yards, 2 TDs. Now, this is a crazy, crazy stat here. 15 rushes for 86 yards. Another quarterback that is running a lot. So we're seeing maybe something different.
absolutely. And just like I said with the Navy quarterback, I really hope their athletic trainers give them the attention they deserve after the game, because that's a lot of rushes for a QB.
Yes, yes. I'm sure being in college, she'll get all the attention from a certain amount of females in the campus. And now one. Speaking of that, my dog of the day is going to be the girls on the campuses. No, I'm joking. It's gonna be the UCLA quarterback. I'm gonna give him the dog of the game on that one there.
Okay. That's kind of another week in college football unscripted for you guys. Thank you for joining us here once again. Uh, to wrap our series up, I'm going to introduce something that I want to call the blowout of the week. Okay. And this past week, it was Ole Miss sweeping the Citadel 49-0. That's got to hurt.
It's a ass whooping.
And obviously, they came in, I think, 5th or 6th ranked against an unranked team. Like, you know what's going to happen. But 49-0. Oh goodness.
Man, I would hate to be I hate to be a fan of that other team there, man. I just, ooh, that's a cry home. I'm telling you, that's a long cry home.
I would hate to be the profs of any of the players at the Citadel. Oh yeah, I'll give you an extension on this. Yeah, just don't embarrass us. Oh wait, okay. And one other segment that I want to end this week on too is predictions. Okay, so Notre Dame versus Pittsburgh. Who do you think is going to win that game?
Notre Dame.
Any idea what the score might be?
Oh, you want to score too?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm
Gonna
gonna.
go expansive here.
Okay. Now you know what? I'm gonna say 45-20, 21 Notre Dame.
Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit closer. I'm gonna say 35-28 Notre Dame.
Okay. Yeah, that's a possibility. I mean, if Notre Dame's sleeping,
And
sure, always a possibility.
Hey, you never know. I remember working with one athlete, and he was a goaltender, and he in lacrosse, and he was telling me, he's like, Tyler, I had 3 good games. I knew this fourth game wasn't going to be a good game. So you work up that sports karma. You get 4 or 5 games in a row. Not every game's going to be your game. Maybe this just isn't Notre Dame's game. Maybe
Yeah.
you know what? I want to change my prediction. Maybe it's going to be 20, 28-21 at Pittsburgh. Underdog of the week.
Whoa. All right. Tyler showing his baston here on CFB. All right.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, real takes for real people. Am I right? I mean, at least I would hope there's like no robots or anyone else listening. But if there is, I mean you no harm.
Shut out ChatGPT.
Second, second game. This program is not made with ChatGPT. Just for clarification. Second game of the second game that we want predictions for: Oklahoma versus Alabama.
Oklahoma versus Alabama. Oh, give me Alabama. Give me Alabama. I'm gonna go 21-17 Alabama.
Okay, okay. I also think Alabama. Oklahoma's had some good games these past couple weeks, but yeah,
They have.
it's hard to go against the roll tide here. I think they lead at Oklahoma in almost every category. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go 14-10 Alabama. I think it's gonna be a low
Really?
scoring game. Yeah,
Really? Hey,
I do.
we don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. Shout out to Uncle Willie. You know, you know that one. People who know that one.
If you look at it too, like Oklahoma, their defense is pretty solid, right? They're only allowing like 200, just over 200 yards per game. I think they have the. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Oklahoma has the seventh best defense in the NCAA right now. So
No,
I
yeah,
think that
for
might
sure.
I think that might pose some issues for Alabama. But I still,
Yeah,
as I said, I still think Alabama's going to win. 14-10
yeah.
is
You know
going to be
what?
my
Hey,
prediction.
absolutely. With what you said there, anything can happen like that. So, 100%, 100%.
And then the last game, Georgia versus Texas. That's going to be a heater.
Georgia versus Texas, eh? Oh wow. You know what? Give me Georgia. I'm gonna take Georgia. Oh wow, this is a tough one, Tyler. This is gonna be a good game here. Give me Georgia.
It's going to be a really good game. And you can see highlights, hype videos, everything at College Football Unscripted for the Texas Georgia game next week.
Absolutely nice plug. There we go. I'm gonna do Georgia 38-24. I think Georgia's gonna come out and just offensively be there. This game. I think so.
Just like the Pitt game, I think the underdog's going to win here. I think Texas is going to beat Georgia. I think it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be 34-33. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's one of those games that if Georgia's just having an off day, I think Texas can 100% win, right? And I
No,
think
yeah, you're right. You're right.
even the quarterback there, Arch Manning, is out to prove himself, prove that he's not just another Manning, that he is his own quarterback. And I think this could be a really good defining game for him. Well, with that being said, that brings the conclusion to another College Football Unscripted Real Talk. Tell me, Anthony, where can the people find you?
Well, you can find me on X, Total Sports _HQ. I'm on there, and I'm also on Twitter under Total Sports, or sorry, TikTok. I'm also on TikTok, Total Sports _HQ. You can find me there as well.
All right. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in for another podcast here at College Football Unscripted. Stay tuned for everything college football. Have a great day. Talk at you next week.